Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this vintage shirt with a turn-up sleeve. If this is what you're interested in, keep watching, like, share and subscribe. Thank you. To get started, I folded my fabric into two. So I folded my fabric into two like this, and then I folded 5 inches inward for my, I call it my button space, but it's not just my button space because we're doing a vintage shirt with a camp collar. So this is the space for my facing as well. So I folded my fabric also in a way that my hip measurement was able to enter. So I folded my hip measurement plus that 5 inches I kept for my facing space and button allowance. I don't know if you get what I was showing, you will actually understand. So I'm actually marking the length of the shirt, and that's the length of the shirt. My table is actually small, so I'm trying to see how I'll move the fabric in a way that you can see. Sorry. So I'm I've marked the length of the shirt, and then I'm adding 2 inches. Sorry, I'm adding 2 inches for my folding allowance at the hem. 2 inches for my folding allowance at the hem. So that's it. So I'll move my fabric again to the top so that we can see. Let me just cut this out so I can move my fabric to the top. So yes, let's work on the top part, which is the shoulder and the neckline. So all right, so I'll go ahead and impute my shoulder measurement. And my shoulder I'm working with is 17 divided by 2 plus half inch is what I added, what I marked there. And I went over to do my shoulder slant of 1.5, and then I put my armhole. I use six and a half for my armhole here because I'm going to have an overlap of 1.5 to 8, which is about 8 inches at the end of the day, so it's okay. I'm doing just marking to get a straight line for my armhole. So this is it. I divided my armhole into two, and I came in by half inch for my armhole measurement. Then I just came up by 1 inch at the L-shaped mark, and then I connected the lines like so. So this is the armhole. I'll go ahead and mark my waistline so that I can impute those measurements. So from my shoulder to my waist is 19. I'm just going to mark 19 there. That's for the measurement I'm working with. So for the chest measurement, I'm going to put it, or the bust measurement, sorry, I'm going to put it on the armhole line. And the bust I'm working with is 44, and then I added 1.5 inch for seam allowance. And the waist I'm working with is 40, and then I added my hip allowance. Know that this is a vintage shirt, so you need it to be free. When you're taking these measurements on your clients, please make sure it is very free. Or when you have the actual measurement, you can just add like 2 inches to it because this is a vintage shirt. You need it to be very free. So I connected it all the way to the hem of the dress. Then I'll go ahead and impute my neck measurement. For my neck measurement, I did 2.5 by 2.5. It depends on the neck measurement you're using, but to be on the safe side, you can do 2 inches so that when you're done measuring the neck, and then you know what else, if you need to cut it or if you need to trim it, you now have to trim it. I'll show you how to do that later, but I did 2.5 for this because this person is a plus size and her neck measurement is around 16 inches, so I did 2.5 all the way. And then I connected the shoulder slant to the neck point. So this is it. I'll go ahead and cut. I'll just cut out the neckline, cut out the shoulder point. While cutting the shoulder point, please add half inch to yours while cutting it. and then I'll cut out the sides, and we're actually done with the front. It's a very simple tutorial, but a little bit, it's beginners friendly anyway, so it's not really technical. It's actually beginners friendly, so just keep watching and you get all the details. So I'll cut the armhole area. I added half inch as well while cutting the armhole area. So we're done with the front. We'll go ahead and work on the back. So this is the back. For the back, I have folded my fabric into two and I placed my fronts on it. I folded it into two. So we're using the closed parts for the back. The back is not going to have any opening at the back. So for the back, I'll just go ahead and just trim the shoulder point. The way the front is, just go ahead and trim out the shoulder point like this. It means that we have done our shoulder slant and we have done our shoulder. So I'll go down to the hem line. At the hem point there, I'm going to mark 3 inches. This 3 inches, we're going to have 1.5 for the front and the other 1.5 will be for the back. So the back is going to overlap the front by 1.5. So after marking it, I'll pull it down to that 3 inches. Sorry, my camera was not getting that part. I'll pull it down to that 3 inches and then we'll go over to the top. So we'll have the space, the 3 inches space up here. So I'll just take the back and overlap it with the front by 1/2 inch, which is the 1/2 inch we're going to use to join the shoulder, and then I'll go ahead and cut out. So it's very simple to do the back. The back is actually very simple. So I'll go ahead and just trim the back the same way we cut the front, like so. So see, just trim it out like so. Mind you, my 5 inches is still folded in like this, so don't go ahead and open up your 5 inches. My 5 inches is still folded inward, and for the back we did not fold in any 5 inches. It's just our fabric folded into two. So go ahead and trim off, and then we'll cut it down. So we're done with the back, we're done with the front. We'll go ahead to sew the shirt. So yeah, we'll go ahead and sew the shirt. Okay, we've not done the neckline, sorry, for the back. So I'll just notch the neck points for the back. I'll notch it this way. Please don't cut it all the way. I'll notch it this way, and then I'll go over my chalk and I'll mark 1.5 inch depth. 1.5 inch depth, and then I'll connect it to that notch that we marked initially, just like this, and I'll cut it out. So that's my back measurement, my back neckline, sorry. So we're done with this, and I will go over to sew this shirt. So I have gone ahead to iron interfacing on that 5 inches that were marked. So this is my front, and that's the 5 inches were marked. I've ironed interfacing. I use hair stay for this, but if you have this medium, this very light scum stay, you can use it as well, but mine I use hair stay. So that's the front. I've ironed the hair stay on the 5 inches just to give it a little weight. So this is it. I'll go ahead and bring the back as well to show you what it looks like. So this is the back. See, there's no joining in the back, it's just one back. So I went ahead to cut a facing for the back. The facing is a small piece of fabric, just a small version of the back, and then I have folded in 1/2 inch with my iron at the facing. I folded in 1/2 inch at the hem part of the facing. So I'll bring my front, and then I removed that facing point because we want to join the shoulder now, and that facing point is not supposed to be attached to it. So we'll remove the facing point from the front, and then I brought my back facing. Please take note the way we place the facing and the front together. So I'll go ahead and sew the shoulder with 1/2 inch. So this is it. I've sewn up the shoulder with 1/2 inch. See, I've sewed it up with 1/2 inch, and I will go ahead and flip my facing towards the back. See, I'll flip it like this towards the back. Let me open it up so that you see what it is. So the facing is just at the back. This facing was just to cover the shoulder points so that we don't have the shoulder showing outside or not neatly sewn outside. So I'll go ahead and stitch down this facing at the back. I'll stitch it down like this. Usually I would like to press my shoulder points first, then stitch it down. So this is it. I've stitched it down. I know it's not visible, but I have stitched it down there. So next I'll go ahead to bring in my sleeves, to fix my sleeves, sorry. So for my sleeves, I'll just make sure I match the shoulders into two, the armhole into two, and then I'll notch the center point. Match the shoulder into two, and then notch the center point. And I'll also notch the center of the sleeve. I'll notch the center of the sleeve like so. And so I'll match the notch from the shoulder, or the armhole part. Is the armhole part. I'll match the notch with the one on the sleeve, and I'll go ahead and sew it and come and show you what it looks like. So this is it. I've sewn it. I want to arrange it well so that I can see it. So see, the sleeve is sitting pretty. I've sewn it. I'll just go ahead now and do my turn-up because I want to make it a turn-up sleeve before I will join the sides. So for the turn-up, I added 4 inches to the length of, I had 3.5, sorry, for the length of this sleeve. So whatever your sleeve length is, just go ahead and add 3.5 inches or 4 inches to the length. So I use my pressing iron to mark out that remaining extension, that's extra 4 inches, and I went ahead to stitch very little, like 0.25. I stitch it down. Don't know if you can see it. I stitched it down there, and that's what it looks like in the front. So after stitching it down, I came in 1.5 inch. See, I just marked 1.5 or 1.25 on it, and then I'll flip it over like this. I'll go ahead and use my pressing iron again to press it down so that it won't move. I'll just press it down so that you will see. So here I have done that. I have pressed it so that I've used my iron to press it. I'll have it there. So it's there. I don't know, but you can't see it. And then I went ahead to use my iron to press 1/2 inch at the hem part. So I'll just place this 1/2 inch that I pressed at the hem of that sleeve. Let me move this so that you see it. I'll now place it on that stitch that we stitched initially. I'll just use it to cover up the stitch like this because we're going to flip it to the front and stitch it down because we don't want to see it coming out. See, we're going to stitch in between this seam that we made in front. We'll stitch this in between with the way it is in the front. I don't know if you get it. In between. Please, if there's any question on this, if you want me to do this turn-up sleeve separately, comment in the comment section. If you want me to make a detailed video on it, comment in the comment section, please. So this is it. I've stitched it down, and I'll go ahead and press my turn-up now so that you can see it. See, I'll just press up my turn-up, and then we'll have the turn-up sleeve there. I'll press it like this. So this is it. I have pressed it, and my turn-up sleeve, this is the back, this is the front. I'll now go ahead and join the sides of this. So I have joined the sides of the shirts, and that is my sleeve. See the way it is. See, the turn-up is showing very well. See, that's the second one as well. See, that's the turn-up. See, and that's the back. I've gone ahead to join the side. So the next thing we're going to do is to work on the neckline, the collar, which is the camp collar. So we're going to measure the neckline, but we're going to start from that 5 inches notch, or we're going to start from that point and measure to the remaining parts of the neckline to the 5 inches on the other side. We're not going to include that 5 inches in our measurement. So we're going to measure from one of the 5 inches points to the other one. Please notch it so that you'll be able to see it, or use your pressing iron to hold it down. So this is it. I've measured mine is around 17 and a half, and my neckline is 15 and a half. So whatever it is, your neckline should be 2 inches more. You should have 2 inches more in whatever it is. So if your neckline is 18, you should have 20. If your neckline is 16, you should have 18 inches. I hope you understand. So this is for my collar, and this is 15 and a half inches. This is interfacing, medium interfacing, sorry, the medium one. So I cut this 15 and a half, which is the neckline that I want, or the neckline that I want to use. So I took out 0.5 at the sides, and then I slanted to the top. Just slant it, let it have a little slant. See, 0.5. So at the center point there, I did 2.5 inches. You can do 2.5, but I wanted mine to be 2.5, and then I'll connect it to the top like this. I hope you understand. My chalk is not showing, but I hope you understand what I'm doing. So I'll just cut it out so that you see it. So this is what it looks like. See, it's having this slant at the top, and then having this slant at the side. So this is it. I'll go and iron it on my fabric. Come and show you. So this, I have ironed it on my fabric. See, I've ironed it on my fabric, and I folded my fabric into two to iron it. So I'll go ahead and stitch along the sides of this interfacing. I'll stitch very close to the interfacing, and then I'll pull it up at the top there. So this is it. I've stitched it, and then I went ahead to trim the excess at the top and at the sides. So I'll just go ahead and pull it up, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out, like so, and then I'll use my pressing iron to press it down. So I brought back my shirt. So this is my shirt. I'm going to flip this 5 inches to the right side. Flip it like this to the right side, like you want to turn it with the front side. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark 1.5 inch from the tip towards the neckline, from the top towards the neckline like this. I'll mark 1.5 inch, and I'll go ahead and stitch from that 1.5 inch to the end of the 5 inches. I'll stitch it down and bring it. So this is it. I've stitched it down, and I went ahead to attach my collar. So to attach the collar, I notched the neckline I folded the neckline into two and notched the midpoint, and I notched the collar part too. I notched the midpoint of the collar part. So I'm just going to hold it down like this and stitch just the side that has the facing. I'm stitching it on the right side, and I'm going to stitch it and stop somewhere around that our 1.5 that we stitched initially. That point we stitched the 1.5, so that's where I'm going to stop. I'm stitching only one side of it. I'm stitching from the right side to the wrong side. So I'll go and stitch it and bring it so that you will see what it looks like. So I have stitched it here, and then I'll continue my stitch from the facing. You know, we stitched only 1.5 inch initially, so we're going to continue now. Continue from where we stopped, from that 1.5 inch, and continue to the end of the facing. And when we get towards the end of the facing, I'm going to fold in 1/2 inch at that point. So we'll just continue the stitch, continue from there to the end of the facing, just to where the facing ended is where we're going to stop, and then I'll bring it back and show you what it looks like. So this is it. I have stitched it. See what it's looking like. I've stitched that part to the end of the facing, And when I got towards the end of the facing, I folded the facing half inch inward like this. So we pulled it out. You can notch it all around if you want. So this is what it looks like in front. See, so we have this other part that we have not stitched. I notched that point. I notched that half inch inside. I notched half inch inside. I'm going to go ahead and use my hemming gum first to hold it down. The sides of this facing, we're going to weave it. Weave it, and then we'll use hemming gum to hold it down. So this other parts, we're going to use it to cover the rough edges at the wrong side of the neckline. We're going to use hemming gum to hold it all the way down. Hemming gum and hold it all the way down. After that, we're going to top stitch on it, either in front or at the back. I'll use hemming gum to hold down all these parts. I'll weave it and then use hemming gum to hold it down, and go ahead and put my buttonhole and fold the hem of my shirt. So this is what it looks like. I have just ironed the neckline, that neck point. I used my hemming gum and then I top stitched in front. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and weave this. I don't have access to weaving machine now, so I'll go ahead to weave this. And the hemline too, I folded my sewing allowance inside. The 2 inches we added for sewing allowance, I folded it inward. So I'll also go ahead and weave the hemline and top stitch on it, just one top stitching. I don't want it to be bulky at the hem part. So for the neckline, I went ahead to iron the collar, and this is what it's going to look like. So I'll go ahead and fix my buttonhole, and this is the shirt looking all pretty and fine. So if this tutorial was helpful, please like, comment at the comment section, give it a thumbs up, and please share and subscribe. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.